U.S. President Donald Trump says he will seize Kharg Island off the coast of Iran, which is Iran's economic lifeline and a major oil terminal. In an interview with the Financial Times on Sunday, Trump said he wants to take Iran's oil and was considering seizing Kharg Island. But he added an operation would mean we had to be there for a while. Rumors are also circulating that the U.S. has captured Kharg Island. The U.S. has already targeted the island earlier in the war. On 13 March, the U.S. launched airstrikes on Kharg, with Trump saying U.S. forces had totally obliterated every military target there. But it held off targeting the island's oil infrastructure. There has been speculation for some time about whether U.S. forces will at some point attempt to take over Kharg Island. In an interview with the Financial Times, Trump said, "Maybe we'll take Kharg Island, maybe we won't. We have a lot of options. It would also mean we had to be there in Kharg Island for a while. I don't think they have any defense. We could take it very easily," he added. Sources told news channels that Pentagon officials have made detailed preparations for the deployment of ground forces to Iran. Adding to that speculation, U.S. Central Command said on Saturday that a further 35 U.S. sailors and Marines arrived in the Middle East as part of a unit led by the warship USS Tripoli. Both the Pentagon and the White House have declined to comment on specific troop deployments or potential plans, but have repeatedly made clear that the option is available. Seizing the island would cripple the economic lifeblood of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and Iran's oil exports. Seizing the island would also provide a platform for the U.S. military to launch an attack on the mainland. But any U.S. move to seize the island would be challenging, the host of the School of War podcast said in the announcement. A U.S. landing force would have to move considerable distances, either through naval vessels or as part of an airborne landing force. Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, previously warned that his country's forces were waiting for American soldiers, and they would rain fire on any U.S. troops attempting to enter Iranian territory. An Iranian military official previously told local media that shipping in the Red Sea would be targeted in the event of a ground invasion. Iran has reinforced its defenses on Kharg Island in recent weeks in response to the threat, including deploying additional military personnel and air defenses, sources told FJ. Tehran has sent additional shoulder-fired surface-to-air missiles to the island, and has laid traps including anti-personnel and anti-armor mines in the waters surrounding it, the website reported, citing multiple people familiar with U.S. intelligence. Kharg Island is a small rocky outcrop just 15 nautical miles off the coast of Iran. 90% of Iran's crude oil comes through a terminal on the island, transported through pipes from the mainland. Trump has specifically mentioned the potential for targeting these pipelines, but said he had so far held off to avoid long-term damage to Iran's economy. "We can do that on 5 minutes' notice. It'll be over," Trump said on 16 March. "Just one simple word and the pipes will be gone too, but it'll take a long time to rebuild that." Very large tankers, capable of carrying up to 2 million barrels of crude oil, around 85 million gallons, are able to come up to the island's long jetties to pick up the oil. The island's coast is close enough to deep waters, unlike the shallower coast of the mainland. The tankers then come back down the Gulf and out of the Strait of Hormuz, to China, the main buyer of Iranian oil. The island provides a major source of revenue for the IRGC. Trump said on 13 March that the U.S. Central Command had executed one of the most powerful bombing raids in the history of the Middle East, and totally obliterated every military target in Iran's crown jewel, Kharg Island. He added that, for reasons of decency, he had chosen not to wipe out the oil infrastructure on the island. CENTCOM said U.S. forces had struck more than 90 Iranian military targets on the island, while preserving the oil infrastructure. The Regional Military Command Unit said it had destroyed naval mine storage facilities, missile storage bunkers, and numerous other military sites. Iranian state media reported that no damage was done to the island's oil facilities. The semi-official Fars news agency said U.S. attacks targeted air defenses, a naval base, an airport control tower, and a helicopter hangar. Following the U.S. attack, Ahsan Jahanian, political deputy to the governor of Bushehr province in southern Iran, said oil was continuing to be exported, according to a report by the IRGC-affiliated Tasnim news agency. The country's military warned that oil and energy infrastructure belonging to firms working with the US would immediately be destroyed and turned into a pile of ashes if its energy facilities were attacked. Military action to destroy the island's infrastructure would be hugely damaging to Iran. It would also present a significant escalation. It would probably send global oil prices soaring even higher and could lead to Iran targeting more energy infrastructure across the Middle East. A month into the war, Iran still has the capacity to launch large numbers of low-cost, high-explosive drones at its Gulf Arab neighbors as well as at shipping vessels. It could potentially expand those targets to include vital infrastructure like desalination plants that provide drinking water for millions.